7:02 then. Our top story, Chris Pincher facing more allegations of misconduct and inappropriate behaviour today following his suspension as a Tory MP.
It comes after the MP for Tamworth says he is seeking professional medical support following accusations of groping two men whilst intoxicated at the Carlton Club in London. He quit as Tory Deputy Chief Whip on Thursday, but is now subject to an investigation, which he says he's going to fully cooperate with.
Yeah, let's get the latest from political commentator Lettice Bromovsky. Lettice, he's going to cooperate with the investigation, but he's not going.
No, he's not going at all. I mean, this is another week and another Tory scandal has come to light. He has been suspended from the whip, so he's now an independent party in his seat in Tamworth. And this morning we've heard that there have been 6 new allegations come to light. This is on top of starting back in 2017 when the Mail reported the first of these allegations against him, which was from Alex Story, a former Olympian and former Tory candidate, said that he had got a bit inappropriate with him in his flat, which one can presume was after a few drinks. Very similar to the situation as you were just talking about in the Carlton Club last Wednesday, where he got so drunk that he couldn't talk, he could barely walk, he had to be put in a taxi to go home. And these are just allegations at the moment, but...
Which he denies.
Which he denies, yes. However...
He denies the inappropriate behaviour, but he clearly admits the drunkenness because he did so in his first letter of resignation. And then last night saying he's taking professional medical attention or whatever, treatment, suggests that he knows he's got a real problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there? I mean, the more and more you hear is that there is a real alcohol problem in Westminster.
Well, completely. It comes down to this sort of culture at the moment in Westminster. It started with sort of Partygate, and now we're seeing this, like, I'm all for having a drink after work, a bit of a de-stress, relax. But this was a Wednesday night going into a Thursday morning where he was so intoxicated. I mean, the sort of hangover the next day. These are the men and women that we're expecting to lead our country at a time when we're in a serious sort of crisis.
And frankly, it was at the Carlton Club, which we know is the sort of Tory club. It used to be a gentleman's club only till about 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And but it was a big reception for Friends of Cyprus or something. So it was diplomatic, if nothing else. It was work-related, really. And for anyone to get that intoxicated at a work-related event, even if it is in the evening at a gentleman's club, it does seem to be not very professional.
No, not very professional at all. And what's doubling down on this is that Boris has now got very much involved because it turns out that Chris Pincher actually had a government minder that went along with him to ensure that he didn't get too drunk at these events. So this is something which was clearly very much known within the party.
How would that work practically? Well, you've got a minder with you watching what you drink.
Yeah, I mean, but you're the Deputy Chief Whip.
How many have you had? No more for you.
Of these behaviour standards,
Isn't
and yet you've got someone following you around.
If you watch political dramas a lot, you always understand that the Chief Whip, and certainly the Deputy Chief Whip, part of their job is knowing what you're like, what their members are like, and also being able, knowing your secrets.
Yeah.
So that, if necessary, you could use
against them, twist your arm to...
But here, we've got the Deputy Chief Whip himself having a minder so that he doesn't behave inappropriately.
Yeah, exactly. And his inappropriate behaviour was very much known within government, or within his party itself. When he was appointed back in February, Steve Barclay, the MP, came forward and opposed his appointing. In fact, one of the senior whips, Craig Whitaker, actually ended up resigning. This goes all the way to like the grassroots level. Young Conservatives within the party called him Uncle Monty as a sort of reference to a sort of predatory character in With Nail and I, the cult film. So it's very much known within the party.
Well, then we heard during the paper review that he was known. His name is Pincher. He's the MP for Tamworth. He was known as the Tamworth Pincher.
I mean, it's just so inappropriate.
It's obviously inappropriate. And from his personal point of view, you could say the man needs help. He's getting help. That's good. But should he be an MP? Should he be appointed to that job when others? I suppose I'm saying, shouldn't the boss have known better than to promote him, given that he was clearly what Anna Soubry called him, a troubled soul?
Definitely. There's no doubt in my mind that he should not have been appointed to this position, considering his previous record and the expectations that came with this position. I think it's important here to think that Boris has massively misstepped once again. And we're finding ourselves at yet another scandal once again. And it really speaks to, and I don't think this is just a Tory problem, actually. I would say that there's definitely a problem across the whole of government. We've had other Labour MPs like Claudia Webb who have been forward for harassment and threatening, an acid attack. Liam Byrne, who was found guilty of bullying his staff. I mean, even Wes Streeting was doing death threats on Twitter. There's clearly an issue within government about the people being elected, and there needs to be some serious grassroots level changes.
Is it just plain arrogance, generally? That some MPs, certainly not all, I've met some really decent people, but that once you get into Westminster, you think you've made it, you think you've got it all.
I mean, maybe I'm not 100% sure on that, but there's got to be something going on. There's got to be something in the Kool-Aid, as people would say, Something's going wrong.
Well, maybe they should change to Kool-Aid.
Yeah, get off the alcohol.
Yeah, turn off the alcohol, just go for coffee bars and juice bars.
I mean, that seems like a smart decision at this point. Save off yet another scandal next week.
Yeah, and on that note, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you, Lettice. Appreciate your time this morning. Lettice Bromovsky there, a political commentator, we should say, of course. All the allegations of sexual misconduct.
They are
strenuously
allegations.
denied by Chris Pincher.
Yes, absolutely.